Recording. Okay, let's get going. Hi, everyone. I'm Fiona Werler, and we're here with the beautiful Joanna Wallace, and we're going to be chatting about sand. So enjoy the ride. And my first question, Joanna, is why did you decide to start Sensory Solutions?
Oh, good morning, Fiona, and thank you. Oh, why did I decide to start? That's a big question. There's lots of oh, sorry, whoops.
Big story behind it.
Yeah, there's a big story behind it, but I think importantly, like we've lived here in Coonabarabran in rural New South Wales for about 22 years now. Moved from Sydney, which I found really hard to do, but over the last particularly 10 years or so, working in child protection and out-of-home care, combined with my early childhood experience in teaching and the work that my husband does.
Whoa, that's a lot. Wow, you have bag loads of experience.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
within that one sentence, I can my brain's exploding like wow, you've seen a lot.
Yeah, seen a lot. And I could also see that there was a gap in services in this rural area. So play therapy and expressive therapy, Sandtray Therapy, pet therapy, the things that really caught my interest over the last few years. And I wanted to know how I could fill that gap, how I could meet that need. So I took the big jump into unemployment, I suppose, and retraining, and back into teaching, and came across this amazing opportunity, or made it happen really with the support of family and friends.
Yeah.
Here I am.
So where are you? Where are you situated, Joanna?
Yep. So living in Coonabarabran, which is northwest of Sydney, so about halfway between Melbourne and Brisbane on the Newell Highway. It's at the foothills of the beautiful Warrumbungle National Park, which is a huge draw card for tourists and also for the stars. One of the things that captured my attention was the sign I used to see coming into Coonabarabran was it's where the mountains reach the stars, and that was that to me is beautiful. It's a beautiful place to live.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Very poetic.
Very poetic. So you have a huge story behind why you started. So I feel like you're a very passionate woman. You have this drive. And how did you first learn about the Sandtray therapy then?
Yeah. Well, it was very interesting. About a year ago, I was looking into the different courses that I could do, thinking that play therapy was the track I was going to go down, considering my early childhood background. And I came across your website, OpenGate, and took a phone, rang you, and said, "How do I get into this? This looks amazing." And we had an amazing, I don't know, lengthy phone call.
We did, yes. A
Yeah.
couple, I think, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got off the phone. Well, I was on speaker so my husband could join in as well. And we just said, yep, that's it. That's what we need to do. That's going to it ticks all the boxes for us. And along with some amazing conversations and with a career consultant in up in Queensland, we came up with the business plan and the idea and how we were going to get it off the ground. So I did quite a lot of market research as well, with people in town and with friends that have known us for a long time and know our passion. And that's how we came up with what we're doing now.
So on that note, what are you doing now? Run us through what what ages that you're working with and how you work with those different ages, and then if you want to, because I know you've got different packages, so if you want to combine that. So
okay,
what do you do and how do you do it?
Yeah, so you can see behind me that I've got the room set up for Sandtray Therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually renting some rooms above the Coonabarabran News Agency. So I'm right in the middle of the main street of Coona. So you'll hear the trucks going past when you're up here. And I just thought it's a good spot to start. So I work with people across the lifespan. So I've only been going for a few months now, but I've had children, so school-age children, right up to retired couples come through.
Wow.
And I find it amazing how people will come in quite nervous about what to expect because it's something new, but how therapeutic it is, and they keep coming back. So,
So on that note, take us back to when you first put your hands in the sand, when you were one of those newbies. What were you feeling? What did you experience?
Yeah, well, I'd read the theory, talked about it, to actually come down to Open Gate Institute for the training and to put my hands in the sand in a room with people that I didn't know. So you have to be a bit vulnerable, I think, but the sensory and benefits, I think, was amazing. It's quite overwhelming because you say to, put your hands in the sand, just smooth the sand, feel the sand, mold the sand. If you don't like the feel of it, use one of the tools, and you can see on the table just next to me. That's what I've got, lots of different things, really interesting brushes. For people that don't like the feel of the sand, who hate the beach, I still think that it is therapeutic for anyone, in my experience. So I felt a huge release of tension. I felt that I could just relax and not have to think about anything, but just to play with the sand in a way that, it released a lot of things. And I think I was able to tell some parts of me through building a sand world and sandscape that I just didn't know how to talk about myself. So I found it very therapeutic.
And I think
I still do. I still do. And after, if I'm up here on my own or waiting for a new client to turn up, or, for the next appointment, I do make my own sand tray again. As you can see behind me, that's one of them.
It's best practice. Oh, we might go through that and have a look if you don't mind.
But
thank you for that, because I think that's the point of difference with a lot of the other therapies. I know we have a lot of samenesses with play therapy, with art therapy, and yet we are our own therapeutic modality. And I guess that's a message that we want to put out. We're not play therapists. We're not art therapists. We're Sandtray therapists. We're psychotherapists. We're not counsellors. We're not social workers. We are Sandtray therapists. And a lot of people don't know that this is it's over 100 years old, this modality. And it was actually developed by a child pediatrician. So the frameworks behind it and the theories behind it are so supportive for us to use this method in exactly the way that you would just expressed that you used it for yourself. So anyone listening, if you're an adult and you've been for years and years and years doing talk therapy, for example, which we also do as Sandtray therapists, but sometimes that sand and the symbols just open up that part of us that feels it doesn't have a voice. Of course, we're humans, so we want to talk, but we just need that gate open. Oh, open gate.
Open gate. How about that? And solutions, sensory solutions.
Absolutely. So,
and I think too, we have, we have a multicultural that we live in, and I think Sandtray therapy and the approach that I take encompasses different cultural symbolism. And that's one of the things I really want to build up is using the sand, just like I've seen when I visited and lived in a community in the Central Desert at Chukula. You know, they sat down and they drew their stories in the sand. And I think that is something that comes with the way that I run my business too.
You just gave me goosebumps. Like our Indigenous peoples have been telling story in the sand for, I don't even want to know. I don't know, but for so long, forever.
So long.
We don't want to put a time stamp on it. And so it actually, when we walk on this land that we call Australia, that we call home, you know, we ingest that. They are ancestors, you know, and with that collective consciousness, we tap into that. We are here on this land and we know that. So it's
and I feel very privileged to have been able to walk alongside some of my Indigenous friends here on Gamilaraay land and learn from them, and it's a real privilege, and it really enriches the life that I have here in Western New South Wales.
Beautiful.
It's amazing. Yeah.
So Joanna, did you want to is there a way that you work differently with children than you would say with adults? And do you work with anyone with disabilities, for example? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very comfortable with working with children, because that's something that I've done for a long time, having trained as a preschool teacher back in the 80s. So it's quite different to now. But I think with any age group, it's about building up a respectful rapport with them, helping them to feel a bit at ease, and explaining in an age-appropriate way or developmentally appropriate way what the Sandtray session, what sort of structure it takes. And so I found that with children, they just put their hands in the sand and get on with it. They don't hesitate, really, so far that I've come across. With people with disabilities, if you're on a planned, managed or self-managed plan with NDIS, I'm certainly open to taking clients with that. And I think I, obviously need to know a bit about the disability and that sort of thing. Being upstairs, it's going to be difficult for people who can't walk up the stairs. So I'm not set up for all people with disabilities, but certainly prepared to, chat with anyone that's interested and see what we can come up with an arrangement or something that suits.
So perhaps low needs, high functioning. So autism,
definitely.
for example.
And even people non-verbal, this is perfect for them. And I've also worked with children that are in out-of-home care themselves, so come with all sorts of diagnoses and issues, but over the series of Sandtrays and getting to know them, you build up a really good relationship where they can trust the process. They know this is a safe space, that whatever they put in the sand is respected. And so one of the things that I do with any age is make sure they know that they don't have to pack up when they finish. This is their creation, their story, and I don't want them to feel that they have to wreck it before they leave, in terms of pulling it apart.
Which is a really interesting aspect of being trauma informed, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's no choice has to be made. You just walk away, just leave it there.
Yeah.
And wow.
And I always try and make sure, no matter what age, that even if putting their hands in the sand, particularly for adults that have got a lot of trauma that hasn't been able to be expressed or helped with counselling necessarily, they cry. And so it releases a lot of emotion. And I found that, I let them go through that because I'm not counselling, I'm not helping them solve the problem, I'm providing them with a safe space in which to express the problem. in way that they will start that healing process within themselves. And I
I
think
love that, Joanna. I love
yeah.
that. That's beautiful the way you've expressed that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the experience I've had so far.
Mm.
And I really feel that honours the individual that comes, no matter what age. But I do try and, you know, once they've finished their Sandtray, and we, you know, if they want to talk about it, we do, but I always try and help them to leave on a positive note. So they can know that that's been okay to express the sadness or the fear, or the trauma, and walk away with a bit of hope that things will get better. And I think that's what I intend to and have been able to do so far. I'm sure, you know, it won't always be that way. It depends on the individual and what's going on for them at the time, but that's certainly the approach that I take.
That's actually also the message of positive psychology. You know, hope theory is massive. So we are very privileged as Sandtray therapists because we can be integrative.
Yes, yeah.
So what is there any other modalities that you integrate into your Sandtray therapy practice there?
So Sensory Solutions, the ideas behind it were to also provide pet therapy or animal therapy, which we were in the process of doing. We had a beautiful English Staffy, Elliot, who I've had to make a Sandtray for myself. But unfortunately, he was very unwell with lymphoma and cancer. So only about a month ago, we had to, we lost him to that illness. So we're on the lookout for how we're going to address that part of our business. But in the meantime, we certainly aren't limited to dogs. We love all sorts of animals, and in particular, we do have an outdoor lizard pit with turtles and dragons. So lots of people are allergic to dogs or cats, and reptiles is a great alternative to that. So when we have our intake session with clients, we can come up with a combination of Sandtray or animal therapy, depending on what the needs are.
And of course, if you do anything at night, you could even do stargazing therapy.
Yes,
I'd come to that.
Okay, you can book in.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
You're more than welcome.
Beautiful.
It's a great place.
Yeah.
We can combine everything. We can do the Sandtray by starlight.
Yes, that sounds good. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And the different therapies that you're talking about, is that tied in with your because you've got 3 packages, is that?
Yeah. So we came up with the business approach, and they're different prices and different numbers of sessions. So just depending on people's financial situations, we start off with the introductory intake session. That's the Blossom package, and then if people are happy with that or want to experience more, they can come for book in for either a 6 or a 12 session, and that's where we've called the Bush package and the Seaside Deluxe. And I think the names reflect our logo. So on our logo, you can see that we have a gum leaf. So we live in the bush and we love gum leaves. The paw print, that was for our dog. And the shell is, I love the sea, I love the beach. Oh, sorry, and I've lost my earbud. And the handprint is for putting your hands in the sand, but it was also, you know, it is for children, it's like a play therapy as well. So it encompasses those things that our logo and our business want to reflect. And that's why we've come up with the 3 different packages. Having said that, though, people that are on NDIS plans, that's a different scale, and they can come for as long as they like.
Yeah.
There's no limit. And I think if people, you know, I've got a client that's finished their 6 sessions that they were able to pay for, and now they're going to book in for another 6. So, you know, that there's flexibility within it, and we certainly would aim to meet your needs, whichever package you decide on.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I'm not sure about everybody else watching, but I'm busting for you to say something about these sand worlds behind you.
Okay, so I've got two. The one over here, it's got some like the feathers stand out. They're eagle feathers that were given by a really close family member. And they are one for me, one for my husband, and one for our daughter. So she's picked them specifically for that. And so they're really symbolic that way. But also the eagle is one of our favourite animals out here, birds. There's beautiful wedge-tailed eagles that glide around the mountains here. So it's quite a significant part of living out here that represent. The little campfire, we do a lot of camping. So that's why I put that in there. And the alien at the back, if you can see him. He's down here at the back of the tray.
Whoa.
He's a bit amazing, really. And yeah, he's there. Like before doing Sandtray Therapy myself, I was quite scared of all sorts of things, and I'm having a lot of trouble with these. Sorry. But now that I can put them in the sand, I'm not.
It's actually
it helps
a
me
really
address
good
my
way
fears.
for psychologists to work with desensitization, or it's a
Yeah.
really good way to work with fears, with anxieties, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you can see now just from what you were saying, I was scared off, but now.
Yeah. And the two African animals in the background, they're actually beautiful wooden carved animals. And I love the feel of them. I love the weight of them in your hand. And I think it's really nice to have something other than plastic.
Well,
different textures,
your clients, doesn't it?
Yeah, and not everyone likes toys like that, but plastic realistic symbols are essential, I think, in part of the Sandtray Therapy. And the two coconut sieves, if I just walk around, I'll show you how they work.
Yes, please.
These are really cool. So just the feel of the sand is beautiful. So I have two of those.
So who would normally use them?
Well, I have adults and children use them.
So everybody, yeah.
Everyone uses them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on this side, I've got a much lighter sort of, tray. And again, it's symbols that represent me, I think. So you'd know.
Do you want to take us through?
Yeah, so you'd know the lighthouse. I've used the lighthouse in a lot of my own trays, particularly in the training. So I love songs about lighthouses. I love walking around lighthouses. I love the metaphor that they bring. So they shine light in the darkness and show you a path where the danger is. So pay attention to lighthouses, I always think. There's also an amazing shop here in Coonabarabran where I bought the lighthouse from, and that shop's called the Lighthouse. It's a terrific clothing and giftware store. So
she's your new best friend, I assume, with the
so big shout out to the Lighthouse. There's a bridge. I'm not sure if you can see the bridge going from the mountain to the lighthouse. In Sandtray Therapy, bridges can be used for anything. Movement from, sadness to hope, or all sorts of things, just depending on the reason that the clients put them in there. But for me, again, it's something that I love. I love crossing over bridges. I love looking over bridges. When I travelled in England, there's lots of bridges, lots of beautiful old stone bridges. So it's significant for me. And I guess I should take that off. Oh, that's awkward.
It's all right. Everything that's live is always
keeps it
real.
Is like a beach house. So I love the beach, I've got that symbol because 1 year I didn't get a beach holiday. I was working all through summer. So instead we decided to paint the bathroom sliding door as a lighthouse, as a beach house. So those are colours that, yeah, to me are happy colours and happy memories. So it's a significant symbol for me in the sand. The picket fence. I've got those in here. I don't know if you can see them. They're around the edge of there and down the side. Again, that's something that I think I always look at houses that have got little white picket fences and I think, oh, how quaint. But
that's a whole other conversation, though.
That's a whole other conversation, and not everything is as it seems. And there's two people climbing the hill, two figurines that are struggling to reach the top of that summit. And I think that is life for lots of people. You know where you want to go, but getting there is really hard. I think putting that sort of thing in the sand for me shows that it's possible. Don't give up. And that's what this sand tray really does represent. And of course, in the back corner, there's the ship. The sand trays are painted blue. You might be able to see there that the base is blue and I've moved the sand away. So the ship is going somewhere, away from the lighthouse, actually, where the danger is. So that's my sand tray for today.
That's your hope sand tray, is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's just part of my journey.
Thank you for that. That's very special. I mean, this is very, it's very personal, and it's always so courageous to put this out in public, and being courageous means being vulnerable. So they're two amazing character traits to have. Actually, you've got them in bucket loads, my dear.
Well, I also think that there's a lot of talk around mental health in our society, and if people can reach out to Sandtray Therapy wherever you live, I think it's worth it, because sometimes just asking "Are you okay?" is not enough, and I think
it's not enough. No.
And I think that definitely for all sorts of trauma and fears and tragic life events that people face, which we don't always know how to talk about or cope with or understand our reactions to things or why we are like we are. I think I've found, and certainly from the research I've read through studying with you, Fiona, and from the life experience, I think this really helps. It's amazing. So yeah, everyone should either train in it or book in for sessions. Definitely.
Yeah. Look, by the way, I didn't ask her to say that, but yes.
No.
That's just not a conspiracy.
It's very close to my heart. It's very hard to see people struggling and to have struggled myself. And I think this has been an amazing journey for me. And I want to bring hope and positivity and some solutions to our community.
And I think when clients go to see someone like yourself who is very confident in their trade, i.e. this as a Sandtray therapist, I think what happens is you have that not instant trust, but the trust is a really strong foundation on which you can start to build your story. And of course, the way that we build our story through Sandtray Therapy, as you said, it's non-verbal. So you don't actually have to know what the issue is, because a lot of the times, as you know, working with in child protection, a lot of hurts and pains were when children were very young, when they had no voice. Or for those who have been in the industry a long time, Sandtray therapists understand that in vitro, those pains and hurts are held in the body. That's goes into that body sense. Because it's not just about this, is it? It's about this. It's about the, you know, the gut, the instincts, the emotions, and that's how we work. We're very, very integrative, but we're very holistic, and we use psychology. Because what is psychology? We actually are using psychology the way that it was founded, because psychology is using the psyche, that unconscious, that depth part, and that's what we do. So we're not surface layer, well, we are, but then we can drop down into allowing them to process what's going on beneath the surface.
And tap into your subconscious.
In
a way that can be frightening, but is, can be amazing as well.
Yeah. Well, I'd certainly come and see you if you were my Sandtray therapist. I think I'd feel pretty safe with you.
Oh, thank you, Fiona.
So, just to round up, we always want to finish with the elevator pitch.
Yes.
So if you could explain what you do and how you work in an elevator pitch, what would you say?
Okay. It changes every time. Hi, I'm Joanna. I'm the founder of Sensory Solutions here in Coonabarabra in northwestern New South Wales. Sensory Solutions provides Sandtray Therapy, play therapy and pet therapy. In particular, Sandtray Therapy, as you can see behind me on the setup. Now, Sandtray Therapy is an integrative approach to expressive therapy. It's non-talk. I provide a safe space in which clients can put their hands in the sand and use the sand and the miniatures on the shelves behind to build a world, a sand world, a sandscape, or just to feel the sand and experience that therapeutic benefit of just letting your subconscious be free to express. And I think, that is one of the great things about the Sandtray therapy at Sensory Solutions.
Fantastic, beautiful. Well, if anybody wants to contact you, or your information will be underneath this interview, and they can just go straight to you and book in or come and see you, or at least pick up the phone and say, hey, can you help?
Book in for a free 20-minute chat, and then come for your first introductory intake session, which lasts for up to an hour, and then we can see which package suits you and your needs.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. That was very insightful and very enjoyable. Good way to start my morning.
Yeah, it's a lovely Saturday morning. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Joanna.
Okay. Bye, Fiona. Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.